August 14, 2022, Kingston and the world will come alive with the 12th staging of the Jamaica Poetry Festival 2022. Morning Coffee Guest has poetry royalty here with us to tell us all about it. More when we come back from the break. Thanks for staying with us. I am Simone Absalom Gale. Designed to identify, develop, and celebrate poetry and/or creative industry, the Jamaica Poetry Festival promotes excellence, social responsibility, and global harmony. With me in studio is social empowerment specialist Yassos, Poet Laureate of Jamaica 2014 to 2017, Professor Mervyn Morris, and a student at the Hampton School for Girls, Samoya Banton. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, yes,
you sound good and you look good and me like the energy.
Thank you. And I love your energy as well. Let's get to it. We're starting with you, Yassos. How long have you been involved in this, and I coined this movement of social empowerment through poetry and the arts?
Maybe from in the 70s when I was at St. Elizabeth Technical High School, and my teacher, Mrs. Alga MacDonald, asked us to write a poem for a school project. She ended up reading my own to the class and said, "It's a very good poem, you must continue writing." So you could say for my idea, my knee.
True. So over the years, you've been all over the world taking your craft and edutaining people about Jamaican culture and our people and just your observation of the world. You've gotten awards for it. You have given the opportunity to other artists around the world. So you started Poetry in Motion, but when did you decide to hold a poetry festival?
Well, actually, the first poetry event that turned out to be a 20-year-old festival in February coming is Poetry in Motion, held annually in Mandeville on the last Sunday of every February. So it's coincided with Black History and Reggae Month. And one year we were asked by Grace if we would take it around the island as we had suggested in our proposal. And something they said to me, I should go to the people. And I did a Q&A that year. 95% of the people said, "Make it on, you don't care, go away." And so we wanted to listen to the people, and we decided to develop now the Jamaica Poetry Festival as a Kingston-based event, and that happened around the 50th anniversary celebration of Jamaica, and now our 12th anniversary is around the 60th anniversary of Jamaica's political independence, measured as it is.
So what do you think contributed to the success of the festival over the years?
Hard work, vigilance, the support of the poets and performers, corporate Jamaica, the public, and ultimately, foremost, the Almighty God guidance and protection. We work by divine ordinance.
Do you have any poignant memory of the first festival? Like when and where was that? The first time you expanded and made it into this annual thing?
Aptly, the Louise Bennett Garden Theatre. I remember, can't give you the long story, but the short of it is that the rain, and there was a thunderstorm actually. And people start saying, cancel, postpone. And I say, for what? And I say, Jah work we are doing us on a week for lightning and thunder and rain. And 15 minutes to 7, the rain and the lightning and thunder put on brakes. And we set everything and kind of want to leave the venue to come back. And Delroy Gordon, Jah bless him soul, executive director of JCDC then, he just come out of the shadows and shake me and say, "I saw everything. Congratulations, we like that." Because we ensured the event started on time, 7 on the dot. And just to wrap that story, we were sponsored by the Canadian High Commission recently, and when we were sit down in the conference room, one of the very first things she said, "We have heard that this event has never started late." And she was only here for 1 year.
It's tradition. It's tradition, you continue a good tradition. What's the concept behind this year's festival, 20 years on?
Why holy? It's like an onion. Firstly, this is the 60th anniversary of Jamaica's independence. And we wanted to make a contribution from the artistic, creative, poetic perspective. And so this year we'll be having, for the very first time, a dinner starting at 4:30 sharp. Tables clear 6:30 for the 7 o'clock start. And that dinner, all the proceeds from the dinner will go towards the deaf community to help them to acquire the technology or whatever it takes so that they can interface with the police to report, crimes or whatever by text rather than voice, which actually is their challenge. And so that's an element of it. And so at 7 sharp, we present, we call it the 60th anniversary edition, and a sub-theme is poetry for reggae, reggae for poetry. In the day though, at 10 a.m., we have a free, family-friendly creative writing workshop with drumming and writing from 10 until 2. And after that, we have art and craft display featuring people like Neville Garrick from Bob Marley fame, Professor Clinton Houghton, the African Caribbean Institute and Memory Bank Institute of Jamaica, Delroy Milul from Spanish Town, a young upcoming artist of brilliance. And then that will be in the foyer area at the AC Kingston Hotel, 38 to 42 Lady Musgrave Road. And so those are some principal elements. So for this year, we are honoring quite a few people. Firstly, Monty Alexander, Award of Honor, and then the most deserving, Marjorie Wiley, for her sterling work. And then we have a youth ambassador for the very first time, Skip Marley.
We're going to talk about Skip Marley because that's really like an interesting part of what's happening this year. It's so exciting.
And Prof is our guest of honor.
Yes, so I was just getting to him because he's my guest of honor this morning. Prof, over to you now. Tell us about yourself and the experience of being awarded Poet Laureate of Jamaica. And is there now a sense of responsibility? But let's get to know the Prof. Tell us about yourself first.
Well, I have been writing for quite a long time, from I was in school. I was in school at Monroe, and I started writing then. And since then, I've been at University College of the West Indies and continued writing, and then went to England and continued writing and just been writing. But the reason why I was made Poet Laureate was that people chose me. They recommended me, and I was asked if I would do it. I think it was partly because people have often asked me to look at material that they were working on and offer them comments. And, that's created a kind of groundswell of people who thought I should be made the Poet Laureate.
Wow. And did it bring a sense of responsibility being awarded this great honor?
Gratitude, but the responsibility preceded the honor. But certainly it gave me, I'm very pleased and grateful. But it's always a responsibility trying to be truthful to people who ask you, what do you think of this? And sometimes if you don't like it, it can be quite a problem. And it's a responsibility encouraging writing wherever you can, but not encouraging what you don't really think you should.
And that takes me over to our next young guest. She's also a participant of the festival this year, Miss Samoya. I love that name.
Thank you.
What does poetry mean to you, and how did you get into it? What does it mean to you?
Well, my mother, she's into reading and literature, so I got that from her. What it means to me, it's a sense of calm. It calms me down. Sometimes I'm in a very dark place in my head and I just write, and it's just freeing, it's calming. I got into it because of my mom.
So it's a sense of expression.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
So how did you get involved with Yassos over here?
Well, my mom has known him for many years, and one day she sent one of my poems to him. I was very nervous to share my work with anybody, and she read one of them one day. I sat her down and I showed it to her, and she was impressed, so she sent it to him, and he reached out and said, okay, we want you on Poetry in Motion. And I was really nervous about that because I don't like speaking in public. It scares me, and that You know what she said? My mom, she said, just do it, and I did it. And
big ups to mommy for giving
Yes.
you that little push
Yes.
to the world. And now you're going to be standing on an international stage representing. But so I want you to think about it. You're representing the youth of your generation, and you're representing your country at an important time, the celebration of our 60th year of independence, and you are a beacon of that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Yassos. Speaking of the youth getting involved in poetry, what advice would you have to a young poet? Because you're now pushing out a new star. So to someone out there who's watching and who's thinking and have their pieces like young Samoya here, what's your advice?
Well, yes, continue writing. If you don't write, you're wrong. And build your confidence. Read, write, associate with others. Look at the history of poetry in your own space. And also remember that every song, without exception, is a poem set to music. So poetry is the foundation of our music, of our culture, of literature, from my perspective. And so we say use that to strengthen yourself and to recognize and accept that you are doing something important for your own self and for your country and for humanity. Right? To set things right.
And on that nugget of knowledge, we're going to take a break. Stay with us. You're watching Morning Coffee Guest. Welcome back to Morning Coffee Guest, and we're talking about the Jamaica Poetry Festival 2022. We're here with 3 special guests, all ambassadors of this piece of art called poetry, and the convener of the festival, Yassos. He's going to give us a piece from his catalog.
Okay, Simone, if you want a piece, you get a piece. Observation, inspiration, meditation. Charged with vibration, climax reaching orgasm, I pen mechanism is ejaculating, and I see men flowing from my pen. Warriors of humanity, enemies of autocracy, champions of right, children of light, fighting against evil, Satan, the devil, soldiers of the army, destroying apartheid and poverty, establishing free man, free woman, equality and liberty. I tongue is a pen of a ready writer, writing upon the winds of time. I mind rise upon the fleshy pages of my heart. I eyes the mirror of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm seeking divinity, propagating I thoughts by the powers of telepathy, giving thanks and praises unto the Most High, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari, as I see men, women, and children flowing from I pen, I pen, I pen, mightier than the sword. Every time.
Round of applause, round of applause.
Clap yourself.
Clap yourself. Very good, very
Thank
good.
you.
Now, before we went to the break, I was asking for advice for persons, for youngsters like Samoya, and even adults like myself who are thinking about joining this movement of creative writing. Professor, your advice to anyone who's thinking of writing and performing poetry. Your advice.
Well, keep writing and keep rewriting, and try not to be easily satisfied. It's important that you work at improving the craft all the time. That's what I think. But also, it's important, of course, that you write about things that other people will respond to as well. There's nothing to say except it's just continue writing, and listen carefully to what people say about what you write. Don't accept it all, but think about it.
That's true. So take good advice, constructive advice, right? And practice until you become almost perfect, right? And observe what's going on in a society and let it feed your writing. Okay, I get it. So we were talking about the festival. So it's happening this year. Everyone is invited, Yassos?
Yes, certainly. Everyone is invited. And we have a feast of poetry. We have people like Monty Alexander, as we have said earlier, Marjorie Wiley, Dr. Michael Abraham, the Poet Laureate of Toronto, George Eliot Clark, obviously Samaya Banton, Kai Faulkner, Mark Stevenson, Calvin Mitchell.
A lot of people.
Skip Marley.
Skip Marley, all right. Let's get to Skip
Professor
Marley.
Mervyn Morris, Yassos Safari.
Enough people. Skip Marley is known for his music. But of course, music is a form of poetry. How did he, though, come to be involved with the festival? How did that happen?
All right, short version. I'm currently negotiating with Tough Gang International for the release of my next album. So we had that interface. He signed to Tough Gang International / Island Records. And so we started, talking with the team and the network. And he had a desire to connect for the 60th anniversary. And we had an intuitive desire to have him specifically from the Marley family on the festival. We had a conference call one day negotiating a range of stuff that we are currently involved in. And it just clicked and happened. And he was breaking the tour with Stephen Marley, Babylon by Bus, the following day. And so we presented the invitation to him on that day, which turned out to have been his birthday. And so it was just inspirational. And so we had wanted to connect with youth, always have. And so we like the idea of having an international youth ambassador to help bring not just Jamaica Poetry Festival now, but Jamaican poetry. And we recognized and agreed with Skip that every song is a poem set to music. So it's a responsibility of the singers and players of instrument to project and promote poetry, especially because of the work that poetry does, as Samaya alluded to, for the social health and social fabric of our country, and to put positivity and let you know that words have meaning and essence and substance. So you must think about it, as the Prof said earlier, when people talk to you, when you look at your own works and so on. So it is really a major accomplishment for us and for Skip as well, and for the movement to have him as our youth ambassador. And interestingly,
it's interesting that you talk about, and someone touched on that, using poetry as a means of expressing oneself. So instead of actively acting on whatever thoughts that you have, it's something that the youth can use to give them a vocal voice. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, and help with emotional intelligence. It's therapeutic, a sense of social responsibility, a sense of understanding self-esteem, self-confidence. Remember, say me a smart picking it too. And so you can excavate your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own securities, your own successes, your own failures, and let it be experiential. You don't have to be pretentious. Just be real. And as Prof say, write and rewrite. I like the rewrite part. So you keep working at it. You don't accept, mediocre levels. You lift the standard high. There's no box, so don't operate like there's a box. There's no limit, so it's limitless. So it's how much you invest in it. You have to read, you have to write, you have to think, you analyze, you practice, you be critical thinking, analytical thinking, learn from others, impart to others, and let it be a movement.
What are you planning to bring to the festival this year, Prof? Since we're having this sort of conversation, you are now an authority in the field. What are you planning to give to those who are coming to the festival to be educated?
Well, I simply responded to an invitation from Yassos to be a guest. And I assumed that meant he would want me to read a few poems. But that is the extent of my involvement so far, but no doubt that's to be discussed further.
All right. So where can we get more information, though, about the event? Do you have it online? Who do we contact to get more information?
Right. Well, we have a fairly strong presence online. Obviously, we are in partnership with the PBCJamaica. We have the Facebook Poetry in Motion page. You have my pages on all of the platforms. We have Jamaica TV Radio, which is on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are getting the support of Bob Marley Radio on Sirius XM, as well as Tough Gang TV, Chris Mix, the Jamaica Observer, and all of our presenters and partners are supportive. For the tickets, which kind of move in with some energy, the outlets are Fontana Pharmacies, Waterloo Road and Barbican, as well as Music Mart, as well as online, mysticonline.com, as well as Bookophilia, New Leaf, and a few other outlets. And yeah, just check us out on my pages, Jamaica Poetry Festival pages, the pages of our performers and supporters. We have a range of sponsors who make it possible. Obviously, AC Hotel Kingston, they made it possible in terms of us being able to be at such an exquisite and upscale venue, but we have the support of a range of sponsors, and so yeah, the pages of the paper, the social
the
media
information
pages,
is everywhere.
yes, and at the outlets that we just spoke of just now.
All right, so will it be streamed live though, online? Or are you just keeping it live, in person?
We describe it as a physical hybrid, so evidently the audience that we generated in 2020, since we went virtual that time, I mean, we celebrated in 10 countries, and so we really garnered a global attention, and so we want to maintain that. So we'll be streaming as a different experience from the live event. We don't want to give away too much, but you see some behind the scenes energy going out there, and so you can look at PBCJamaica on your YouTube channel and on your cable network, and you're supporting cable network partners, as well as Jamaica TV radio on YouTube. That's Jamaica TV radio, so 2 words, Jamaica TV radio on YouTube, as well as the Poetry in Motion Facebook page, as well as Jamaica Poetry Festival Facebook page, and Jamaica TV radio, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook page. So we're all over the place. And so don't forget Tough Gang TV, Bob Marley Radio, Chris Mix.
We'll be all over. We'll be all over. So now on to the fun part. We're going to showcase some of what they can expect. Well, yeah, yes, but more fun. Okay, so what I want is for the viewers to experience what they can expect at the festival, how we have fun at the festival. So we're going to do a game called Word Association, real quick, but the poetry edutainment way, the Yassos edutainment way, right? I'm going to give you a word, and you're going to give me a line or stanza in poetry using the word. All right, so I'm going to give the professor and Samoya a little time. So I'm starting with Yassos because he's kind of quick. So the first word is Jamaica.
Jamaica Poetry Festival, word, song, power. Every song is a poem set to music, so music owes it all to poetry. So come out to Jamaica Poetry Festival 2022, Sunday, August 14th at the AC Marriott, 38 to 42 Lady Musgrave Road, for the 12th annual staging of Jamaica Poetry Festival, when we celebrate the entire spectrum, because it's an eclectic poetry feast like no other in our 60th anniversary, and when we're doing a dinner to help the deaf community. So it's all about honor, love, and poetry.
And Jamaica.
Well.
All right.
And the world.
All right. So, Prof, your word. Aki. Use the word Aki and come up with a nice poetic stanza. Aki.
Aki and saltfish taste nice, and you don't need any rice.
All right, good to get to. Nice and simple. Okay, all right. Samoya.
All right.
Love. 5, 4,
Hold on.
3, 2.
I can't be put on the spot.
All right, don't worry, you get an next chance. So,
okay.
All right. Next word, Yassos.
Again.
So should we start chance? So we're coming around. Next word, youth.
Youth.
1 stanza.
Empowerment specialist. That's who I am.
But you have to use the word in your
what you say? No, they didn't say youth. Me say youth empowerment specialist. That's
you have to put the word youth in the stanza.
Then me start with it.
Let me say try. Prof.
No, me start with it.
All right, come again. Say it
Me
again.
now come again. Me start with it. Go on.
Professor, your word. Book.
Well, I like to see a good book, and a good book is well worth anybody's look.
All right.
Okay.
You ready again?
I think so.
Give back the word. Love.
What is love? Is it an emotion where you don't put anybody else above the person that you love?
Amen. Amen. That's a good. All right, that's all for now. Thanks to our special guest, social empowerment specialist, Yassos, Poet Laureate of Jamaica 2014-2017, Professor Mervyn Morris, and a student at the Hampton School for Girls, Samoya Banton, for joining us. Continue watching PBCJ. This has been your morning coffee guest.